Imagine you're a medieval sailor further out than you've ever been. You've been told if you go far enough you'll hit India, but you've never been able to shake the feeling you won't just fall off the world. As you're lamenting how it's been weeks since you've seen any land, someone tells you an island has been spotted. You get closer and closer and look at this silhouette to see what looks like to be a statue on top of the mountain of a man on a horse pointing out into the open ocean. You think it must be a trick, it's natural rocks, or you're even back in Europe. But as you get closer, you realize neither of them things are true. There is a statue out in the middle of an island, nowhere. You scale up the mountain and realize something has been written at the base. You get a bit cocky since you know how to read a bit of Portuguese, but to no avail. Others come up, people who know Spanish, Italian, and even Latin, but no one can read it. In fact, no one even recognizes the alphabet. You search the island for people, but there's no one but your own crew. You can't even find ruins. It's as if you're the first people to be here in a very, very long time. This scenario was a possible experience of medieval and early modern sailors when first discovering the island of Corvo in the Azores archipelago. The Azores are located nearly 1,500 kilometers from Europe and nearly 2,000 kilometers from North America, being roughly near the middle of the North Atlantic, though some islands do exist between them and Africa. Corvo is the northernmost and smallest island. Though the Azores were officially discovered in the 1400s, earlier maps hint that some sailors knew the island existed. Later, in 1452, Diogo de Tive would come across Corvo and noted he found a statue of a man atop a horse pointing towards the ocean, with many other accounts around the time backing up this claim. By the 1500s, a Portuguese king became aware of the statue and requested it be brought back to Portugal. However, the attempt to bring it back destroyed it. Whatever pieces remained have been lost, and the sketch made of the statue before being destroyed too has also either been lost or destroyed. Basically, no one knows for certain what the statue was, if it was man-made or not, or if it even existed. Recent evidence does suggest that the Vikings visited the Azores, evidenced by, of all things, rodents of Norse origin found on the islands. Archaeology also points that animal farming existed in the Azores between the 700s and 1850s, pointed out in Michael Price's article linked down below, though no one seems to think this is the cause of the statue. Though many theories do exist for what the statue was and who, if anyone, created it, the main two theories seem to be that either the statue did not exist or that the Carthaginians built it, both of which are explored in BSJ Isserlin's very short article linked down below as well, Did the Carthaginians Reach Corvo, in brackets, Azores? In this article, Isserlin discusses previous finds of possibly Carthaginian and Greek coins that were found in Corvo in 1749, plus the fact that some accounts of this statue are from quite reputable people, suggesting that the statue did actually exist. He also discusses his archaeological finds on Corvo and pottery he discovered, explaining that it might be Carthaginian. However, Isserlin concludes that while many things suggest the Carthaginians possibly were on the island for a short while, more archaeology needs to be done to determine whether they did reach the island and by extent whether they built the statue. Sadly, this article was written in 1984 and there hasn't been too much more research since then. However, since then, Philip Bede, an Englishman, in 2019 sailed across the Atlantic Ocean in a replica of a Phoenician ship, the Phoenicians being the wider group that the Carthaginians belonged to, proving that the Phoenicians and thus the Carthaginians theoretically could have sailed across the Atlantic Ocean and most certainly to the Azores. In conclusion, what was this statue and who built it? We really don't know. There is a serious lack of evidence here. Which is a shame, because this is very interesting. I mean, as Isserlin says in his article, if the Carthaginians did reach the Azores, they would have had to have done it at least before 200 BC. This is well over 2,000 years ago. And considering the Azores are nearly halfway between Europe and North America, that is a very, very long way for ancient people to be traveling. If the statue did exist, the biggest culprit seems to be the Carthaginians. However, nothing can say for certain whether or not that is the case. For now and for the foreseeable future, this seems to be one of our unsolved mysteries of history. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.